Hi, I'm James from Aluminati Guitars, and this is our new full aluminum Nebula model. So this is our first instrument with a full aluminum construct, not just the neck, with our Hollowcore technology, but we actually have hollow aluminum body as well. And that's not only for lightweight, but it's also for tuning stability and resonance. It's much more resonant to have a hollow body than just a heavy, super thin aluminum body. There are actually trusses milled inside of the body that go from the bridge block inside out to the sides of the instrument, which helps transmit the sound instantly through the whole guitar. So you have almost an instant attack and response, just like people would be used to with our Hollowcore aluminum necks. There's zero maintenance needed on our necks. Is it zero maintenance if it needs maintenance in like 20 years? Like, we've had zero returns after making over 1,000 guitars, basses, and necks. So it might wear out and need some maintenance sometime in the distant future after the collapse and everything is, Yeah, so very, very little maintenance on our guitars. So, either in hot lights or like on a cold stage, you're not gonna have to tune it as much or at all. Guitar and bass techs they constantly tell me that when I go hang out side stage right on shows, that they love our instruments because they can just hand them to the artist after they hand it back, and they tell me they don't really have to tune it or anything. They just maybe wipe some sweat off of it and then hand it back and it's ready to go. Also with the tone, I hear this constantly with people that are buying our new full aluminum models. The feedback is, you can use it almost like a tone. It's usable, and it's also very focused, and you can adjust it. Like, you can almost adjust the feedback just with your volume to where it's not just feedbacking constantly or not when you want it to. So yeah, they're very expressive instruments. They weigh, the new ones weigh in at 7.5 pounds with no neck dive. So they're extremely lightweight for an aluminum instrument. Very resonant compared to even a lightweight wooden instrument. And that's what all the Hollowcore technology brings. The string definition on all of our instruments, and this mainly comes from the neck, each string has the same volume to it. It doesn't change like on a lot of instruments. And a lot of that is also due to the Graphtec saddles. They're made in Canada, and they're impregnated with, I believe it's PTFE. So they help with string definition, and you actually break less strings using them as well. So that's super cool. Starting at the top. So our little crown on top, I don't understand why people don't realize it. I guess I didn't do a very good job of design with that, but it's the devil horns. It's just a stylized version of that, where the knuckles and then like that. So just so people know, because I don't think there's ever been one say that in a video. One of the only parts of the guitar we don't make are the Spurzel tuners. They're made here in the USA. I've been working with Ron's company for around 10 years. We stock everything with locking tuners. If you want something else, we can do that. We do custom style through them. So that's one of the parts that we don't make. This actually starts, our necks do, as an 18-pound billet of aluminum. And the reason is we don't forge the headstock back. This all has to be one solid piece of aluminum, and then we have to remove all of that to get to this shape. Which brings me to the profile of our necks. We did a lot of ergonomic designing on them, and a bunch of R&D to where we came up with this profile that almost has a flat D that turns into a C, like a medium C shape. It relieves finger fatigue and hand fatigue, wrist fatigue, so less strain to play the instruments, so you can just express yourself longer without, having any pain or anything. The neck, of course, we do. and the nuts we make as well, and they bolt on. So if you want to change string gauges, it takes about 15 seconds. You don't have to knock the old nut off or do any gluing or filing. You just order a new nut. They come in 10 to 46 gauge, but if you wanted to go with like 13 to 58 or even throw some baritone strings on it, because the neck is so stiff, even with the 25.5-inch scale, you can throw larger gauge strings on and tune it way down to, I don't know, Z or whatever people tune to these days from metal. Because it's so stiff, it'll actually hold the note. It's a tone. It's not just gonna flop out or flub out. Bassists are big with that. Almost every bass or bass neck we sell, people get an extra nut cut to like BEAD, which is like the 130 to 85, I believe. The fret wire we do not make. We partner with Jess Carr, and they make the best stainless steel and Evo Gold fret wire on the planet. So we've always used their fret wire on our instruments, and we've never had anybody need a refret yet. So it's much harder to work with. The luthiers tell me that every day. But because we mill everything down so precisely, down to 2/1000ths of an inch, which wood, obviously you can't do that, we engineer the relief in. So after it's fretted, very little work needs to be done. We still do a level and crown, but it's, you know, compared to a wooden instrument where you have to take off a bunch of material to get it where you need it, where you adjust the truss rod, and then, you know, recrown everything. Ours just take minimal work, so you can get really, really low buzz-free action on not just our full guitars, but on our necks as well. We mill our necks out of 6061 aircraft grade aluminum, and it's actually two pieces. You can't really see it, but the fretboard is a separate part on the neck than the back of the neck, and it's all hollow inside. So we not only chambered it for lightweight and help with tuning stability, but we shaped the inside to where it adds to the harmonic content of the overall instrument. So when you're playing any of our guitars or basses, you'll notice there's no dead spots, and the harmonic content is almost like adding a chorus to it. And even being lighter weight with how we engineered the shapes inside, it sustains longer than a solid aluminum or regular wooden instrument. It's almost like a bell. Under each one of the fret markers, it's actually the fretboards, all of them, whether it be carbon or aluminum, are not only attached with epoxies, but also mechanically attached with a screw under each one of those. So basically, once it's put together, like I said, you can't really see that it's more than one piece, but once it's put together, it makes for a really stiff construct. Moving down, this is one of our higher end instruments, so it has our system style neck, which actually bolts in inside of the body, so where there's no heel joint like on a standard guitar. And the reason we bolt them in and don't actually build an aluminum neck that goes all the way through to the bridge is we found that it's much lighter to do it this way, so it balances better and it's much more resonant, and it actually sustains longer. Another part of the guitars we don't make are the pickups. We use Lawler pickups, and until we can start winding pickups better than Jason and his team, we're just going to keep using these. The bridges we do make, this is our new style Aluminacrown. It doesn't have the crown style. You can still order them on any of our guitars, but it just has a much more rounded off, tame look to it. And it's probably hard to tell on the video, but it's not flat. There's actually a 3-degree draft angle to it, going from the back to the front. And they are 70-75 aluminum, so they're extremely stiff. So they transmit the sound along with the rest of the instrument almost instantly to the whole guitar. So the body is 2-piece Hollowcore 6061 aluminum. And it's not just all hollow inside. We actually have some baffling surrounding the pickups and the electronics, so you don't get microphonics bouncing around in there and cause unwanted feedback. These are really interesting. The Switchcraft jacks we use are just dead flat on there, so they actually screw into the body and then are internally locked with the lock nut. So it's just like a little extra feature where everything is completely smooth and flat and flush with all the bolts and all the recesses. The finish on these is really cool. It takes a lot longer to make that, all the lines that you see, but I think it makes them look more like a jewel, or on the lucite, especially with the black, it looks almost like onyx. Yeah, that's one of the motifs that I'm not sure if anybody else is doing that. But because they don't have a wood grain to them, we just wanted something that was visually striking. So that's why we do that. We stock everything with Stringjoy strings. We started working with them right into the pandemic. I talked to them and ordered some strings, and we were very happy with them. So now we stock all of our guitars and basses with Stringjoy strings. So yeah, great company. Love them. So the full aluminum Nebula DX is now available here in Chicago at FRET12 at the Salt Shed.